Hey, welcome to the Strategic Advisor Board. I'm Dr. Bruce Rippee. I get to bring you what my clients ask me about on a regular basis. I have hundreds of these videos, but I like to say something that's top of mind right now, and that is, how do I deal with a scientific question about which I hold a position, a conviction, when it's an employee or it's an overheard conversation, or we're having conversations, even amongst the executives, and there's a disagreement. So here's what I always tell everyone. I know that you have a position on vaccines, on masks, on everything, health and wellness. What I do is I deflect. I actually tell my clients, go to two different things. They're all truthful and they might help you. Hope this does. The number one thing I say, remember, science always looks for empirical truth, always, which means it's never done. Yes, if you sit under an apple tree and an apple falls on your head, it's probably gravity. But what if? What if there's high winds? Does that mean that it now hits sideways? The answer, of course, maybe yes, but you get what I'm saying, right? What if it's wet? What if it's icy? Is it different somehow? So science will always ask a question about that which it is sure. Okay. So I brought it back up many times saying, listen, whatever my opinion is on this, I'm absolutely open to your opinion. In fact, I'd like to know how you got there, what your filters are. And I think what you'll find mostly when you work with employees and with your other executives, if you hold one opinion and they hold another, everyone agrees that the opinions are extremely important, but take time to listen to that opinion. I've had a client recently that unfortunately had a very liberal person at the front desk who was angry about the relatively conservative culture that the business had. Perfectly good worker, did very well, terrific person, but really held a conviction. The CEO had to go in an employee development meeting and actually talk with her and say, tell me your opinion. I really would love to hear what you have to say. What they broke it down to, thank goodness, they actually had a great conversation and they said, well, we don't want you angry at anything. What I want you to do is be able to express yourself. And I think what happens is we're going to agree on 95% of everything. And they did. They agreed on all of it except where if it was that particular pattern, whatever she had set up in the business, if it was that particular pattern, what was going to happen was an opportunity for more abuse. And that's what the CEO was against. That's the only comment that is. It's interesting how he was able to just say, I agree with you almost 100% on everything that you're doing. Just at the end of it here, there's already people who know how to work the system. And if we give them a bigger opportunity to work that system, I think bad people are going to work it. And that's my only opinion there. And he won that very, very well because quite simply, there really wasn't an argument. Same thing with science, same thing with vaccines and masks and mandates and whatever you hold dear to yourself. I'm going to tell you right now, ask the question because someone's going to feel differently. I've had people in our clinics get up and walk out because the doctor showed up without a mask and said, hey, would you like for me to put a mask on? The fact that they didn't already have a mask on was enough for that patient to leave the office. Of course, there was a conversation afterwards. And at that point in time, it was difficult because they had to slow down enough to say, well, tell me your opinion, give me your conviction, right? I'm also going to let you know that when it comes to how you sleep, think, eat, and move, these are great conversations to have, especially if you are the leader. So you're going to hear me hold you accountable, ask you to be accountable, ask you to take a look at, are you intentionally sleeping? Are you intentionally thinking good thoughts? There's a lot of things out there that I can give you as far as tips and tricks that we use. Are you intentionally making some time to eat really good food? For example, there was a donut day that got started by one of the front desks at one of the clinics I worked with. And it was every Friday, somebody would bring in donuts. Well, there was a different person every day too. So when it finally got around to the CEO, he brought broccoli and dip. And he did it on purpose. And everybody went, oh my goodness, what a horrible thing. You brought in broccoli and dip on Friday. And he said, yeah, it's only one day out of every 8. Don't worry about it. You know, the next person will probably bring donuts. But what was interesting is he stayed true to that. He stayed absolutely true to that. And at the end, everybody really respected the fact that he would bring in something healthy on Friday. They started calling him a health nut and all of that, but it opened up great conversation for him to have with his staff about how are you eating? How are you thinking? How are you moving? How are you sleeping? But was all focused on him, not them, which was probably the most important thing. All I can say is I really appreciate these. If these are helpful to you, I'm going to offer a lot of tips and tricks. The Strategic Advisor Board is going to have me do that. These are my opinions. They're people I've worked with. I have hundreds of these, but if you have something you really want me to look at, would you do me a favor? Would you send me something to my email? You'll see it based at the bottom of this somewhere, and I will get back with you. I read all of them. I have a vlog, I have a blog, and I have this wonderful opportunity as a platform to help advise executives, mostly in that how you sleep, think, eat, and move really does matter to the people that you serve. And the higher you go up in the food chain, in all honesty, the more people you serve. So I will talk to you next time. In the meantime, be an example of what's possible.